I'm committing a video faux pas, and that is recording in front of the window over here, over there. Before I get to this week's topic, I just wanted to say thank you to all of the girls on the channel. Viewers do not know this, but my grandmother passed away last Saturday. It was somewhat unexpected. She seems to go downhill really, really fast, and the person who she was a month ago is not the person who she was last week. So it was unexpected in the fact that we had less than like a week's notice that she was getting really, really ill. But it was enough notice that I was able to go into Cookeville, which is where she lived near my parents, last Thursday and say goodbye to her. And my husband went with me, and it was a very bittersweet moment. But she was the youngest in her family, and I know that she's now in heaven, and she is getting to spend time with her brothers and her sisters and her mother and her father and my aunt, who also passed away last year at a very young age. So I just wanted to thank the girls again for being really sweet. I've gotten text messages from a couple of you guys, and I've appreciated you checking in on me to make sure that I'm good. And I am good. The first couple days was a struggle just because she was the only like biological grandmother who was really in my life all the time, because we have a really like dysfunctional extended family, and she was there from the moment I was born up until the moment that she died, unlike my other grandmother was. So we were a lot closer to her than some of the other grandparents that I have lost. But I now only have one grandfather that is still alive, and a couple of step grandmothers who are alive because my grandfathers, both of them, had gotten married several times. So the number of grandparents living is dwindling, which means that I am getting older, which, yeah, that's fun to think about. But this week is my topic, and I'm going to go through it pretty fast. It is revisiting your New Year's resolutions, which I asked all of the girls to go back and look at their first video from this year, which were sort of resolutions and not really. Mine in particular was a list that I got from Pinterest where there was a bunch of questions, and so I'm going to review those and tell you if I've done them or not, and if I plan on actually doing them this year since we have a couple of months left. So the first one was something that I'm going to be better at, and it was not sleeping in late, and I have been very good at that, especially over like the past 5 months. I've set my alarm for 7 a.m., and I have been diligent in at least waking up at that moment, and if I don't get out of bed at that moment, I usually get up by 8. I've been getting up with my husband, who goes into work earlier than I do, and having breakfast with him and spending a little bit of time with him and watching the morning news. And so I have been very good about not sleeping in late. A skill that I wanted to learn and was knitting, and I realized a couple months ago that I had not learned how to knit yet, and that I needed to do it because it was something that I genuinely wanted to learn. And so I asked a friend of mine who knew how to knit if she would show me, and she did. And I have been a knitting fiend ever since. This right here is a scarf that I made for my husband, and it was the first thing I ever knitted, and I think that it came out pretty good. It looks cute, super cute. It's a garter stitch, which is a very simple stitch to do, and since doing this one, I have learned a whole lot of new styles and stuff, and so I've been having too much fun with that. The next one was somebody that I want to be more like, and that was my sister Katie, and I feel like I'm a little bit starting to be a little bit more like her. I don't know, it's kind of a hard thing to gauge, but I feel like I have. The next one is something good that I want to do, and I said I wanted to volunteer to tutor with kids at my church, and I have been a total fail on that. And I have no plans on really accomplishing that this year because David and I have taken on a lot of studies, Bible studies, and different things with our church already, and so to add that on would be difficult. Though one of the things that we have added is that we are leading a small group of 7th grade kids in a Bible study. So I feel like that could sort of, kind of fit the volunteer to tutor, even though it was a completely different program that I was talking about from the beginning. A place I wanted to visit this year was Montana. Totally did that. A book that I wanted to read was The Fault in Our Stars, and I did finish that. I finished that very early in the year, and I got to see the movie, and yeah, all that fun stuff. The next one, which was a little crazy when I saw, and I went back and watched this, was to write a letter to someone this year, and I had said that I wanted to write a letter to my grandmother. and I never did it. And she has now passed away. So David, I told David about it, and he has encouraged me to write the letter anyways, and I will do that. I'm just not sure when, and it's probably something that I'm not going to share with anybody. So I'm sorry on that front, but I have a feeling that the letter I would write today to my grandmother is completely different than the letter I would have written to her in January. So it's something that I'm not really wanting to share. So next thing was a food that I want to learn to eat. Celery. I did not do well on that. I might do it through the rest of this year. I'm not really sure. I will decide on that later. And then last but not least, I wanted to become more well-rounded. I wanted to be more spiritually, physically, emotionally healthy. And on some fronts, I've been successful. I feel like I'm a whole lot more spiritually healthy. Physically, I have been doing better on exercising and eating right, though I have not lost any weight by any means or shown any complete, signs of being healthy. But I have tried. And as far as like emotionally, I'm getting there. This year has been a really true test of being emotionally happy about myself and where I am at life. And I feel like I'm working on trying to get there. It's kind of a transition period for me. So I won't go into great detail with that. No, I am not pregnant. For everyone who I keep saying stuff to, like, oh, great changes are coming in my life, they're all like, oh my God, are you pregnant? And I'm like, no, leave me alone. I am not. So this is turning into a really long video. Liam is over there staring at me. Isn't that weird when your pets like stare at you? So I'm going to get off of here. Again, thank you to everybody who's been supportive of me. I love you. I love you. I love you. Goodbye.